just took his time and just systematically put his plan together for the excellent fight. Mr. Champion, Laura, can you please come up?
Buenas noches a todos que están presentes aquí, gracias por el apoyo de hoy.
Says, thank everyone. Hopefully everyone had a good night, and he wants to thank everybody for all the love they showed him out here in Brooklyn. There's just not much more to talk about. Any questions?
Lara, una pregunta. En inglés, en español. Primero en inglés. Now that you've defeated Trout and we know that you want to fight Canelo, what is your message to Canelo directly? ¿Cuál es tu mensaje a Canelo directamente, sabiendo que tú quieres pelear con él?
Ya lo dije ya públicamente, lo dije a River. Le dije que ya, le dije que quería Canelo, a mi promoción y a Jaime, que son la gente mía, a mi hermano de Cuba, ellos son los que se encargan de eso. Si no es Canelo, hay quien venga. Nosotros no vinimos aquí a estar eligiendo boxeadores, nosotros peleamos cualquiera.
He says, he said it publicly in the ring on Showtime. The fight he wants and the fight he deserves is Canelo. If Canelo wants to keep, running the way he's been doing, then he'll fight anybody. He didn't come to this country to pick and choose. He came to fight the best. So, he'll leave, Golden Boy, Al Heyman, and, the team to put together the biggest fight out.
Can you explain maybe more clearly what the Cuban clinic is?
Pues dar un poco más la escuela cubana, la clínica cubana.
La escuela, la mejor escuela del mundo, Cuba, a nivel mundial. Solamente le tienen que dar la oportunidad a los boxeadores cubanos que se desarrollen un poquito más, que lo tienen apagado.
Yeah, for him, he feels it's one of the top schools in boxing. Boxing, and he says all you got to do is just allow these fighters to be themselves and give them opportunities, and let them fight the best, and they'll show the world why they're the best.
Any more questions?
We did a lot of interviews with her. Anyone else?
Yes. Demetrius Andrade was here today.
Who?
Demetrius Andrade.
Who's that?
Andre, WBO champion.
Who?
Junior middleweight. WBO champion.
Él me conoce bien.
He says he knows him real well.
I know. He said that you guys met in the amateurs.
Yeah, who won?
He said that Laura won.
Okay.
But he also said that was the amateurs.
Así que eso era Amateo que tú crees de él.
Amateo, profesional, estamos aquí. Yo no estoy eligiendo boxeadores, ya lo dije hace un ratito allá. Él me conoce bien. Me llevo con Andrade, nos vemos, nos salvamos, nos llevamos bien porque nos conocemos de la carrera de Amateo. Pero sé que hay que pelear y piden otra cosa, no hay de otro.
He says, he saw him here, he came and congratulated him. Like he told you earlier in the meeting, it doesn't matter. Amateurs, pros, don't matter. He's going to beat him either way. And if they got to get in the ring, he's not picking and choosing nobody. He'll fight anybody.
Don't do it.
¿Ya?
Yeah? Okay. They're live. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Gracias a todos.
Just for the record, I am authorized to say that Richard Schaefer and Golden Boy, is trying to, get him Canelo and Lara to actually give the fans and give the media what most want to see that fight. So it is being talked about and it is being discussed. So that could be another possibility for 2014, and I'll be excited, and everybody else be excited. And to me, it's what boxing needs, fights like that. So don't rule that out. I know you mentioned names here and there, but don't rule that out. That fight is being discussed. Just not in the media right now.
Will that fight be held here, maybe?
It all depends. I mean, this is New York. I mean, nobody will be a hometown favorite because, everybody has a nationality that New York represents everybody that's on this basic planet that's here. So it could be New York, it could be wherever. But I would like to see them fight personally. I just think it's good for boxing. And it's, obviously it's good for Golden Boy promotion.
Is the deciding factor to make that fight still dependent on what Miguel Cotto decides to do?
It's not based on whether Cotto do or don't do. It's just based on whether two sides can get together, their representation and the other guy's representation, which is Cotto and Lara, and come up with a fair decision where they both can agree to. It's all about negotiations. You know how this goes. So whether Cotto, he's not like a situation where if Cotto don't do this, it won't happen. If he does this, it will happen. I mean, it's not that it's plain black and white. So it all depends. It's all negotiations, all what's best for each guy to understand what's best for them, and hopefully what's best for them to fight the best. And fighting the best is those two names I just mentioned, Canelo and Lara. Any more questions? All right, let me bring up a guy a champion rather, that showed excellent grit, smarts, and determination to win the title. And when I said earlier to people about this young man coming up, he's the present. It's what boxing needs to hold up the tradition of great fights in this division. We bring up Mr. Porter, champion. Congratulations, come on.
I want to thank everybody for being here right now. Thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for giving me victory tonight and allowing me to stand up here healthy right now. Training camp was hard. We made the fight easy. I think anybody who watched the fight tonight saw that we were able to do some things against Devin Alexander tonight that not many people thought Team Porter would be able to do, that I would be able to do. We proved a lot tonight. We proved, like Bernard said, I have a lot of grit, a lot of heart, a lot of skill, a lot of talent, and a gift from God. I plan to continue to use this gift and ability as long as I can, and defend this IBF title like a true champion, and go for more in the future. So that's it. I open up to questions, whatever you guys have.
Besides what you talked about in training camp and strategy, it also appeared from the opening bell, determination and hunger also played a factor in your performance tonight. Would you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I'm 26 years old, and this is basically what I've been dreaming of, what I've been wanting. Not literally dreaming every night, but when the opportunity came over the last, I would say, week or two, I've literally dreamt of this night and how the outcome would be and the whole nine, you know. So from that standpoint, just a lot of hunger and a lot of desire to get what I want out of life, out of this sport. And I'm just so blessed to be an IBF champion right now and be official champion in the history books.
Whose idea was it to come in with that game plan to make it a rough fight the way that you did, to take Devin Alexander out of his normal character?
Well, this is why I had my dad come up here. This is my manager, my trainer, my father, Kenny Porter, and he's behind everything that I do, and he's the leader of everything that I do as well. And you know, when we knew we were gonna fight him, he immediately, night and day, literally, I was waking up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He's watching film, trying to figure out what we were going to do, and he said this is what we were going to do, which was be aggressive and get him out of his comfort zone, make him fight. And you know, I bought into it, had to believe in it, and I had to do it. This guy right here, he's a genius. He's a genius.
How much did working with Victor Conte improve you for this performance? Because you seem to be a new Shawn Porter. You definitely had more energy. You were definitely more active, and you just bullied him, basically.
I wanted to bully him. I wanted to be aggressive. I wanted to make it a dog fight. I wanted to make the fight hard for him from beginning to end. And I think more than anything, maybe the role that Victor played in all this was just kind of adding to the program, the things that we've always done. And you know, also teaching me how to rejuvenate my body and be ready for you know, the next workout, the next day, and ultimately you know, being at my best for this fight, being strong, rehydrating after the weigh-in and all that kind of stuff. So He played a nutritional role, but you know, we stuck to what we know best, which is working hard and being ready for what we have to do.
Was this the first time working with Conte?
My first time working with Conte, I think we went out to San Fran and worked with him for about 11 days or so, and got a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, a lot we already knew, and you know, a lot that we compounded on as well. So this could be something we look forward to doing in the future as well.
Also, the sparring. You had a lot of tough sparring for this fight.
I love tough sparring for this. I had a lot of tough sparring for this fight, and like my dad is a firm believer in making the training camps hard to make the fight easy. We sparred our last hard week with Boo Andretti, Demetrius Andretti, he's world champion. We also got in the ring with James Kirkland, throughout the camp, and I also had Chris Pearson is an undefeated fighter, and Rashad Holloway as well. So a lot of tough, hard days in the gym and at home, and it all came to tonight.
Any more questions? Yes, Devin Alexander, of course, was in a tough fight. He had to get checked out, went to the hospital, not only because of the cut, but it was a tough fight. It was a tough turnaround fight. So, we want everybody to be safe. We don't want tragedies. So getting checked out. So that's why he's not here. Let me tell you about the attendance, which was, 9,363 people in attendance to watch not only Paulie and Zab Judah, but this outstanding card, and it's pretty exciting. Has some exciting action, especially with the first main event TV fight, which is Beaker and Durrell. So we just wait till they get here and sort of let it marinate for a minute and see the time they come. And also, I want to tell you, it might be a possibility that Porter will have a shot at Paulie. Roman Malignaggi, excuse me. Yeah, that's definitely it's being talked about also for 2014. So, again, looking forward to the next year. There's a lot of exciting possibilities of fights happening, and that's what we want to do at Golden Boy. We want to continue to give good fights, competitive fights, risk fights, where it's not a clear winner on paper, but a guy has to earn it. Champion or non-champion has to earn being a champion and being the best. So this spells action. It spells excitement, and hopefully, it will spark a fire to the fighters to do their best when they step in the ring, and try to outdo and compete against each other in a way where they want to be the fighter of the night or the fighter of the year possibility. So that's one match that's being talked about, as Bruce from Golden Boy just reminded.
What were your impressions of the main event?
Paulie, as I predict, the ones that's here, reporters, what's my thought, who I think was going to win and how. There's very little chance of beating Paulie. I don't care if you're young or middle age. I ain't gonna say who. You give Paulie this much room, somebody has to give Paulie either a Duracell commercial or Energizer commercial, because Paulie don't have to throw punches to be moving something in his body, and I'm talking about this Energized. And he fought that fight, and Zab couldn't react quick enough. I'm not going to say a man got old overnight. No, you get old in the gym, nobody tells you. And then you show up to the fight and you really look old because that is being exposed. He just couldn't get out of the gate. And when Zab come, maybe he would speak the same language I speak. He couldn't get out of the gate. And when he tried to get out of the gate, he even looked even more slower. So Paulie fought an excellent strategy fight that he didn't deviate from. He knew he's not the better puncher. Both guys is not known as being punchers, but he's definitely not known as being a puncher. So he used the best and the most effective weapon that he had to use. He boxed, he threw combinations, and he reacted to the 30 seconds before the round end, and he made some energy happen, which punches was thrown. So he fought his fight, and when you fight a fight like that, it's hard to deny a guy from a victory. And he got the victory. He earned being back in the picture, and also burning the king of Brooklyn. And you might think that's not a big deal. I mean, I know you didn't say that. You know what I mean? It's a difference between, we know, world champion and the king of Brooklyn. But you're in New York, dog. And when you're in New York, as they say, you're in New York, dog, that's bragging rights. You know? I was corrected. I ain't from Brooklyn, I'm from Staten Island. That's how important it is when you talk about 5 boroughs. So, you're the king of New York. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at for him and for the reputation that carries. You know, so it's a pretty good fight. It's a pretty good fight. But Bika and Durrell was a tall order. They slugged. Round 1 to 12. And we got a sort of, they can say, well, you know, controversy type thing. But this was one of the good controversies. I think they should fight again. I would love to see that fight again. I would love to see that fight again. Because I think the styles make fights. Bika's coming. Bika doesn't change his stripes. Bika doesn't change his stripes. He comes forward, he swings. And like I said, he's not technically sound, but he's tough. He's a veteran, and he's never going to stop. That's not his style. And so the younger guy got to figure that out. And Durrell looked like he figured it out earlier. Looked like he almost had him out of there. But that's what, you know, guys of wisdom, of experience, they know how to hang in there. They know how to survive. They know how to make it look ugly. If it's going to benefit you, I'll fight ugly every night. If it's going to benefit you. He's not a boxer, he's not cute, he's not flashy. He fights the way he fights, and he's been successful. Matter of fact, he's been successful, I believe, 2-time or maybe 3-time world champion in his whole career. That says something. So, use what you have to the best of your ability. All right, 3 minutes is up now. Where they at? Any more questions, anybody?
What would be next for Paul?
Let me tell you what I said. Bruce?
Yes.
First thing I said to Bruce was sitting next to me. I said, you know what? First thing came to my mind around the 8th round. I said, if this continued to be a boxing lesson, and Zab doesn't get a punch in to change the whole what's happening now, I like to see Paulie and Garcia. He said, Danny Garcia? I said, Bruce, what do you think? Paulie and Danny Garcia. It's a sellable fight. It's a respectful fight. I don't think any reporters would sneeze at that fight, especially at that weight division. Because you got 2 styles. You got 2 styles. That's going to be a fight that Paulie's going to be who he is, right? Just like Bika's not going to change his stripes. Why? Been too successful in his career doing it. Danny Garcia got that dog in him. Don't get confused because you seen him outbox Matisse. That's because I trained in that gym for 8 weeks with him, and I just gave him a little advice. That's all. And it fooled the top writers that thought that, wait a minute, man, this guy won't get wiped out of him because he fights Matisse's style. Or they got food, and a lot of them had to eat crow. They ain't eating in front of you, though. They ate it when they got home. I would like to see that fight because I know that Danny Garcia that had people food that he couldn't box, that he was so much of a slugger that he's going to be bait for Matisse, he will have to be the dog that Zab Judah couldn't be tonight. Zab didn't have it in him. But Danny Garcia, if you want to say younger, if you want to say knowing that he has to make the fight with Paulie, that's what makes, to me, an exciting fight when it comes to styles and styles. Because Danny ain't going to try to outbox Paulie. Paulie ain't known for knocking nobody out. So you can take more risk with a guy that don't knock you out. You're willing to take chances you wouldn't take. And Danny Garcia has that DNA in him because that's what he led y'all to believe that he's going to fight like that all the time. And of course he didn't when he fought Matisse. That's why I think that style makes a great fight, because it's not only an East Coast fight, but it's a fight where you're going to have some skill because there's skill in the mix, but you also going to have some dog in the mix because you have a Danny Garcia, and you can't sneeze at Paulie because Paulie's a little rough, a little Italian that don't back down for nobody, as we've seen today. Any more questions?
What about if Colazzo wins against Ortiz? Paulie and Colazzo, another battle of Brooklyn.
Listen, it's a lot of round-robins. I love that threesome. Not in the way you're thinking, but I just love that. That's the way you looked at me. I was looking at non-verbals. I was looking at the non-verbals body language. That's why I just, maybe I was wrong. If I was, I apologize.
I think you were wrong.
Okay, well, I apologize. Yeah, I see that. That's another one. Again, it's so, that division is I mean, you can actually, you know, have people debating about what they want to see. But none of these fights are fights that, to me, it's going to be boring. You might have your preference, and you're entitled to that. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, I might want to see this, you might want to see that, but at least we got 3, 4 different people we're talking about. Put all of them together, throw it up in the air, and see who comes out the best. And that makes great fights. Zab Super Judah. What's up?
First of all, I just want to thank my team, Super Judah Promotions, Golden Boy Promotions, Barclays Center, Team Malignaggi, everybody that participated in this situation, my whole team, my father, my uncle, my trainers, just everybody. Business manager Bill Akis, Daryl Moe. You know, some days you have an off night. You know, one thing I want to say is, you know, Paulie was he was just a little, just didn't want to engage in a fight like I thought he was. You know what I'm saying? He stayed outside with his jab and he used his distance pretty good. He kept it outside good. What can you say?
Zab, is this the case where the teacher has been beaten by the student?
I just think that, you know, tonight he had a better game plan. You know what I'm saying? He stayed outside and he boxed. You know what I'm saying? He used his lateral movement and, you know, I think the little timing body movement that he had, it kind of threw me off a little bit. You know, every time that I went to get it, it was like his timing was different. I couldn't really pick his timing up, so.
Zab, could you explain the knockdown?
You've had some losses in some big fights before, but because of the Brooklyn aspect of this and being your hometown and being against Paulie, who's your homeboy, does this one sting a little bit more than your average?
Of course, it's always hurtful and disappointing to lose at home. You know what I'm saying? To lose, you know, where you want to raise that. You know, especially to a situation like this. You know what I mean? I mean, Zab's a puncher in this fight. You know, I mean, people could say what they want to say. You know, go get him, do this, rush him, tell him. It's me. When I go at a person and I feel like, you know, I tried to do what I did, and he stayed away good.
Zab, can you explain the knockdown at all?
I don't know. I didn't see it. They didn't even show it to me.
Zab, do you expect to be back?
Say it again?
Do you expect to keep fighting?
Of course.
Zab, did you feel that you didn't throw your hands? Didn't you just didn't let your hands go? Did you feel that?
Of course. Yeah, I thought it was different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he did a good job with just pulling away. You know what I'm saying? Like my jab, I counted his jab a lot. I took the jab away and hit it with my jab a lot. You know what I mean? But Paulie just kept it moving. You know.
The first 4 rounds were amazing.
He didn't close it. I mean, you know, just closing the distance was, you know, kind of a tough situation, and I just couldn't get it over.
Like I said, those first 4 rounds, you did what you did, and then after that, it looked like you just froze up, like you just couldn't throw those hands.
His timing was pretty good. He had good timing on tonight. Can't take nothing away from him. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it real. And, you know, you win some, you lose some, but you got to just be a man about it. You know, one thing about me, y'all watched me for years. I'm far from a sucker. You know, I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I mean? Listen, tonight we worked hard. We had a great training camp. You know, tonight he just did a couple of things more that just threw us off a little bit. It's okay.
Zab, this is the first time you went to 147 in a few years. Did that have anything to do with the outcome?
No, we made the weight fine. We made the weight fine. was great. It wasn't like we was in there with Mike Tyson or nothing. You know what I mean? So it was pretty good. I mean, he never hurt me, stung me, nothing like that. He just, like I said, that little penny patter, quick, stuff is like, you find yourself reaching and swinging at stuff that's, you know what I mean, like because of his movement. You know what I mean? His little timing and stuff like that. So it's all good though.
Zab, do you think at some point that he would get brave?
I was hoping that was my whole plan. If you kept watching, I kept trying to just go forward, just kept walking. I figured that maybe he'll just get brave and just try to exchange with me. He never got to that moment.
Zab, it seemed like his speed kind of froze you. That you couldn't do what you wanted to do. Did you feel, was he quicker than you thought he was, or no?
No, it wasn't that. Just, when you watch the fight back, watch the replay, the little timing that he had, that that movement he does is like, kind of threw me off a little bit. And I'm like, what you doing? Like, and he knows how to move it and pop off it. Move it and pop off it, you know what I mean? So, it's pretty good.
Zab, is your future at 147, or do you think you'll go back down?
I don't know. I feel comfortable with it. I feel strong tonight. I had a strong training camp. I had a lot of young, undefeated guys that I work with. Young guys, and I was doing pretty great against them, and just I don't know, man. Tonight, just sometimes it be like that. You might work harder and you get to that night and it just don't click.
Obviously, didn't take a lot of punishment or anything like that.
No.
Is this the kind of...
I wish that if it would have been punishment, then I would have probably been standing here with the Brooklyn belt right now. Because that means that we would have had to engage in a war. You know what I'm saying? I think the most war we had was about this last 30 seconds of the fight. And 12 rounds. That was the biggest brawl out. So.
But after a loss like this, does it make you think about giving it up, or do you just...
No, man. You know me. I'm never a quitter, man. Never a quitter, man. I don't know how to quit. I don't know how to quit. Anytime anybody steps up to the challenge and challenge me, I'm right there. I'm in their chest. You know what I mean? So, as far as you hear about me quitting, that's far from it.
Between the 11th and 12th,
Question for Yoel. Yoel, your assessment of the performance, what did you see out there from Zab tonight and from Paulie?
My son, he fought good, I was encouraging him to do a lot more. And he was trying to give it to me, and I think after the 4th round, 5th round, he cramped up pretty bad, his legs. So we was trying to work with that, but I wanted him to get close. I wanted him to make it a fight instead of boxing. Get close and fight for it, I kept telling him. And I thought Paulie, anytime Zab would close the distance and get close to him, he would destroy him. You know what I mean? But I just couldn't get him to get close to Paulie and let his hands go. And when he did do it, the bell would ring or would end. I don't know. I just wanted him to make it more of a fight. Bring it to him. That's the whole fight. You got to bring it to him. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if the cramping had something to do with it. He said that Paulie had a little funny move where he would just throw him off. So like he said, Zab is a great champion. You know what I mean? And like he said, you win some, you lose some. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, we expected this to happen, but it's life. And he'll be there.
One thing about it, I want to say too, my dad in my corner, they kept telling me all the right things, guys. I take nothing away from those guys. The guys, they had the right game plan, but sometimes when you're in there, people can tell you what to do, but it just don't. My dad was saying, go get them. And every time I went to get them, I just found myself being like, I felt myself personally sloppy. I felt like I was lunging with my left hand and trying to swing with my hooks, and Paulie was using his speed and his great boxing ability to just keep me off balance.
Before you leave, now that you fought Danny Garcia, you fought Paulie, we were talking about a future match for Paulie with Danny Garcia.
You fought both of them. How do you think they would do?
You know, Danny gonna have to just do the same thing that I was told to do tonight. If he would fight Paulie, gotta go get him. Because Paulie's not gonna engage in no fight. You can forget about that. He's gonna stay outside and use his good jab and his lateral movement and sidestepping, and you know, he gonna box his way into a decision. You know, Paulie trained for 12 rounds. He comes in good to box. There's nothing powerful, nothing like that. You know. And you know, I mean, with that little herky-jerky style, it's pretty good. I mean, but you know, let's see if Danny can pull it off. You never know.
Thank you, Zab. Give it up for Zab Judah. Yo, here's come King of Brooklyn, who said that he was going to fight a smart fight, box, use his jab, and if he has to step it up, he was going to come forward and let his hands go, and he sure enough did that. I want to introduce Paulie, the King of Brooklyn, back in the picture. I always mess up his name, so don't worry about it.
I don't even know what to say.
No, first I gotta, sorry to cut you off. Gotta give you this Spencer Hurst jersey. Yeah! Bragging rights there, boy.
Yeah! I thank Golden Boy, Al Heyman, my team, Anthony Canzaro, Steve Bash, Eric Brown, Orlando Carrasquillo, Vincent Callaway, Pete Ferraza. But you know, and I don't know. I mean, I'm happy. You know, I'm looking forward to big fights. I want the winner of next week's fight with that bitch ass Adrian Broner. Whoever wins that fight, I definitely want to shock because, you know, in my opinion, they're fighting for a title that belongs to me. I don't believe I should have lost that fight. Adrian took the title because they gave it to him, and so now he gets to defend it. So, you know, I deserve a shot at my old title back. So for starters, I would definitely be interested in the winner of that fight. Plan on working it. Hopefully I get these stitches out before then. You know, but and I'm not usually at a loss for words, but I don't know what else, how much more there is to say. You know, this wasn't a real trash talking kind of promotion, so you know, it was good to get the win, but at the same time it was, you know, it was bittersweet because, you know, Zab Judah was a guy that I looked up to for a lot of years. You have many boxing heroes growing up, you know, people that you look up to on the way up. You know, you have your peers, you have people you see in the gym. You know, you have Junior Jones in there who used to kick my ass every day in Gleason's gym when I first started. You know, but you know, guys like that, you know, you always look up to the elder statesmen, and so Zab was, you know, he's still active. Obviously, we had to fight, but he was still one of the elder statesmen that I looked up to. So the win was bittersweet, but it was good. It felt good to get the win. It felt good to win the Battle of Brooklyn, and it felt good to have these bragging rights and to move on to bigger, better things. You know, and that's it. What's up, man?
What did you think about the judges?
I didn't hear the scorecards. I didn't even. What were the scorecards?
You've had, the last two fights you've had here, you were very...
I mean, I don't think you could get this. I don't think you could get this one wrong. I mean, I don't. You know, I think it was pretty clear I won the fight. So, I mean, I'll admit the Broner fight was close. You know, so you know, I mean, but I still felt I won it. I mean, if you couldn't have scored this fight for me, then you need to be walking with one of those canes with the red color on the end of it. You know. So I mean, there was really nothing to say about the judges for this fight. You know, but it's all good. Oh, thanks.
Congratulations, Paulie. If you don't get a shot to win your old belt back against the winner of the fight between Adrian and Maidana next week, you have a very deep weight class. Golden Boy promotes many of the top fighters in that division. Shawn Porter won a title tonight. There's other guys. What would you like to do if you can't get that fight?
Whoever brings the most money. I just want to get paid, man. I've been doing this too long. I just,
You know, and I want the opponents that bring big fights and money to the table.
Who do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, the welterweight, you said it yourself, the welterweight division is pretty stacked, so, you know, there's a lot of big names with a lot of potential there, you know? I'm one of them, but, you know, you can mix and match the welterweight division and make a lot of money, you know? I think it's probably the most talent-stacked division in boxing right now, so, you know, I mean, my personal preference is the winner of the Broner Maidana fight, but, you know, we get a big fight or a title fight or a big money fight, I won't be complaining, you know? So I know I got a good team behind me now, so, you know, I've now that I'm fully back, willing to fight again, you know, after the Broner fight, I wasn't really convinced I wanted to do this again, you know? I told my guys, you know, I'm not sure I'm going to fight again. So now, you know, with a win like this, obviously, it's kind of full steam ahead. And, you know, I'm looking to see who's out there in the welterweight division that I can mix a match with and make some money and continue to, you know, show that I'm still a world-class fighter even at my age.
Paulie, congratulations. Paulie, is this your biggest victory to date?
Nah, it's not my biggest victory, but it's a satisfying win. You know, I've had some good wins in my career. You know, a lot of times I've been with my back to the wall, and as far as my life expectancy at a world-class level has kind of been questioned. And there's been fights where I go into these fights and I need to win in order to remain at a world-class level. And I kind of always, you know, when my back is to the wall, I perform. You know, I've been in these kind of situations before where, I mean, realistically, I lost the Broner fight competitively, but 2 losses in a row would have kind of eliminated me from from the, you know, the names where people would mention the welterweights at a world-class level, you know. So I kind of had to get this win to maintain that world-class status publicly, in the public opinion at least. I've had wins like this before. I don't know, you know, I end up with my back to the wall where, you know, you're fighting for your life at a high level, and I won, you know. I mean, I remember the Juan Diaz fights, the Zinchenko fight, even the Walmart Do fight. I mean, I had lost the Cotto the year before. I mean, I was getting another title fight a year later. If I would have lost that title fight, I don't think I would have got another title fight until I was like 30 years old. You know, at that time I was 26, so, you know, I knew it was a back to the wall kind of fight there too, you know. So, you know, I kind of relish the pressure. I live for it, you know. I love big fights, you know. It's like I said, the win is bittersweet, but because it was Zab tonight. But I live for that pressure moment, you know. Being a professional athlete and getting to perform on this kind of stage, when the pressure's on you, you know, when you're going to sleep at night and you're thinking about, you know, everything's on the line here, you know, and you got to perform, and then you do it, you know, it feels good.
Thank you.
Congrats, Paulie and Team Malignaggi. 2 questions. One, did Zab bring what you expected him to bring, or maybe a little bit less? Did you maybe expect to see combos that never came, number 1, and then number 2, can you give us a technical assessment of what you did to get this win?
I felt Zab doesn't fight well going backwards. He's a big puncher. We all know he's a big puncher, a pretty good puncher. But he's a big puncher when he gets his forward momentum going. You know, you put Zab on his back foot, he's not punching as hard, he's not punching as confidently. So I felt like if I get that head movement, keep him missing, keep him guessing on which way I'm going, and keep throwing those sharp counters when he does want to get off, it'll make him hesitant. So I got that rhythm going from round 1, and you know, I never looked back. Even in round 12, I knew he was going to come for the knockout. I said, if I can get on my bike right now, and I can try to survive this and still win the round. But that might put me at risk, because it's going to put him on his front foot, and he's going to, you know, he may be able to land a lucky shot. So, you know, I said, you know what, I'm going to try to keep backing him up even around 12. I'm going to hold my ground. I'm confident in my head movement. By that point, I was also confident in the radar I had on his offense. And I kind of stood my ground around 12 too, you know, just to eliminate the possibility of him being able to load up a big shot the way he wanted to. And so, you know, the game plan worked perfectly. We had a great camp. I mean, my trainers, man, you know, they worked my ass off, man. Because I was out of shape when this camp started. Because like I said, I didn't think I was fighting again. I mean, I was totally out of shape. I mean, I started with, I brought back, yeah, you're right, X. I brought back Orlando Carrasquillo on the pads. He was, I worked with him in the amateurs. And my trainers, Eric Brown, the head trainer, and Vincent Calloway came, conditioning coach, you know, from LA. And you know, we got the ball rolling, and man, it was a great camp. I mean, we put in a lot of hard work every day, dedication, and you know, we got the job done.
Can you quickly explain how, for someone who doesn't understand, how someone who doesn't have incredible pop can keep someone backing up like you made him back up? How do you do that?
You're getting hit with shots you don't see coming. You're getting hit with shots you don't see coming, and they're sharp. You know, you don't. Gloves are 8 ounces, man. I mean, whether somebody can punch or not, the grown man hits you with 8-ounce gloves. Like, you know, the media's a funny. You know, the people in the media are funny when they talk about punching power, non-punching power. I'll put everybody in this room for a round with me with 8-ounce gloves, and I'll knock every single one of you out. Every single one, less than a round. Every single one, less than a round. Well, not
What up, Paulie? My instincts kicked in.
So I forgot X was behind me. But no, what I'm basically saying is 8-ounce gloves hurt, man. The grown man hits you with 8-ounce gloves. That's gonna hurt. So if you don't see those shots coming, the surprise element will make you gun shy. So when I'm sharp, you know, and we executed his game plan perfectly tonight. Sharp, keep him guessing, keep the counters sharp and shoot them. Show him in the counters, even when they weren't landing, as long as he was seeing those counters, that he knew that I was live in front of him. It would keep him hesitant, and so it worked.
Paul, the knockdown.
Hold up.
Paulie, congratulations, man. After the last fight, part of your frustration, which you were vocal about, was the Al Heyman connection to Adrian, and now it seems like you're connected with Al. Can you just talk about how that happened and the process of that?
You know, here's the thing. I see, back in the day, I used to always see fighters thanking Don King. And then, you know, when they would win fights, thank Don King. But then they were always talking shit behind his back. I know Al's fighters. You know, I'm friendly with all the fighters, you know, including Al's fighters. Nobody ever complains about being with Al Heyman. They're all happy, publicly and privately. So it was something that, you know, when I had decided after the fight, you know what, I'm done. I just don't need this in my life. I don't want to deal with the frustration. When you get a call with an opportunity to work with a guy like that, you know, can eliminate those headaches and make things happen and get you the big fights. Listen, man, I was frustrated, but it didn't mean I didn't want to fight. I enjoy fighting. You know, I enjoy being a pro athlete. I just get frustrated with the things I don't control. You know what I mean? But if I can eliminate some of the headaches and just focus on my training and have a team around me that takes care of everything else, you know, it makes fighting a little bit more enjoyable. You know, and so it was kind of a no-brainer. You know, I went from not wanting to fight again to okay, let's give it a shot, and here we are. You know, and now with this win tonight, I'm happy I did it. You know, and you know, I got to thank Al and Sam for that. You know, because if I didn't get that call, I don't think I would have fought here tonight.
Paulie, has the build-up for this fight as the King of Brooklyn, has it lived up to that for you? Now that you've gotten the win and you're here at the press conference, does it feel like you're truly the king after beating Zab today?
I mean, I guess that's for the fans to decide. I mean, the win was satisfying for sure. Not so much for the King of Brooklyn because, you know, Zab is a guy I have a lot of respect for. But it was just an important win because it was a guy against a guy who was still at a world-class level. And so it kept me relevant at a world-class level and it puts me in position for big fights. You know, when you're fighting at this level, every win is important because it leads to just bigger and better things. So, you know, it's not like I'm a prospect on the way up where you're just going on that climb. Every win at this level is a big deal. So, you know, the win means a lot. I don't, you know, the King of Brooklyn is, you know, some bragging rights, but in reality, the actual win of a fight of this magnitude, a nationally televised main event, you know, it can lead to a world title and a lot of other things, you know, so it's important.
Hey, Paulie,
Excuse me, you know what Paulie just said, and it's important, I'll say this in front of everybody. Tom Hauser and I was talking, and I said, what do you think about Zab Judah and Paulie? I've seen Paulie come up since he was a kid. I don't want to see him fight anymore. I'm going on a sub in Brooklyn and I'm going home. My lips to God's ear. Obviously, there's a lot of reporters in here going to say Bernard said, and I'm telling you, and he would tell you, you didn't see Tom Hauser, he's not in here. But to me, watching Paulie, he told you too? Yes. Knowing Paulie, from my nephew Demetrius Hopkins era, coming out of the Olympics and things, and his back against the wall, especially with that bitter taste in his mouth, I told Tom I was surprised. I said, you going on the sub, you going home? I don't want to see him fight. He missed out. He missed out. on a great performance by this man. I just want to get that on record, and I'm glad that you.
Yeah, but he'll admit to it too.
Okay.
He did it on club. He didn't want to.
Well, it's his loss.
Hey,
Yeah, of course.
Paulie,
Okay.
when I spoke to you before, at the press conference, the final press conference, you said that, I asked you about Zab's southpaw style, and you said you never, what I found intriguing was that you said you never lost against a southpaw, either amateur or professional. Now, there's something you said that you weren't going to give it away because you was having this fight coming up. So you said that there's something you do against southpaws that makes you successful against them.
I adjust my stance a little bit with southpaws. It kind of eliminates their left hand. I stand a little bit more in a straight line as opposed to, like with a right-hander, I'm a little bit more squared off. You never totally squared. With a left-hander, I try to keep, I'm almost at a straight line. And it actually started happening when I hurt my right hand. I started standing like that even against right-handers because I couldn't throw the right hand anyway, so I tried to make myself as small a target as possible. Then, I started realizing southpaws couldn't land the left hand because I was almost in a direct line. I would just have to make small moves and they would miss the left hand totally. So it's just a small adjustment that makes me not take any left hands or rarely any left hands. And if you take away a southpaw's left hand, you have the battle you won already. So obviously there's reflexes involved and my jab is still has to work, but that was just a small adjustment I made. I just adjust my stance a little bit with southpaws.
Paulie, did the stance have something to do with the knockdown also?
It's funny. The knockdown was just my leg was on the inside of his. So when you're fighting a southpaw, you're trying to spin out a lot of times, and when he threw that left hand, I made this move to get out, and I was trying to finish spinning out the other way, but his foot was on the outside of mine. So as I spun out, yeah, the left hand touched me, but it grazed me. The reason I fell was because of his foot being in the way. So as I was spinning, his foot was in the way. So I tripped over his foot. It's something that happens. But it was a punch didn't land. So I guess you gotta call it a knockdown. But I was not hurt at all. I mean, it was legitimately I was actually mad because I'm like, man, I just had started off on the right foot with that good first round, and now I just gave him a 10 round. So I was mad. I was frustrated about that. But I got back on my focus and I kept sticking to the plan.
Let's take one more question and that's it. Then we'll get some rest. Did you?
Yeah, I got ice my hands. Yes.
What do you got? Got the microphone.
Paulie, first, congratulations on the masterful performance. Picking up on where you just left off, what was your thought process after that quote knockdown?
Shit, I just gave him a 10-8 round, man. Then I got won the first round, and now he just took the lead on the cards because now he's gonna get a 2-point round. On top of that, I felt like I did a good job taking away all the confidence from him in round one. I felt like he ended round one, and he knew like, shit, this is a tough fight. And I wanted to keep working and breaking him mentally off that. And now with a knockdown, there was a possibility that, man, this guy might gain some confidence and, this fight could get tough. But, I stayed focused. I just said stick to the plan and, see how he comes out. I was very confident in my ability to read his offense and counter and shoot the sharp counters. Even if they didn't land, the fact that I would kept shooting them out off his jab and off whatever he was doing. Some landed, some didn't, but he kept them domesticated, so to speak, and so that worked.
One more. There you go.
Hi, Paulie. I noticed that during the fight, there were times where you and Zab exchanged a few words during the action. Do you remember any things that you said, particularly there was an exchange at the end of round 9, I think, where you guys started talking back and forth. Do you remember anything that you said?
Yeah, he was just saying Brooklyn or something, like trying to pump himself up, or Brownsville or something, or pump himself up. And then a couple of times we were talking about the fouls. Like he was saying, like, when I would push him down, he would complain, and I'd be like, yo, don't come in with your head, or I got headbutted, and we were just complaining to each other about the fouls. And then I think when I clipped him one time, and he said it didn't hurt, and I was like, that's all right. I was like, your knockdown wasn't a knockdown either, So it was just like trash talking, but it wasn't anything serious.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all. Done. Give me some rest. Yeah.